What's up, Rockstars? Today I'm going to be talking about having a better community. Thank you to my channel sponsor Into the AM. As a company that believes hard work and a great product is a proper way to conduct business, I am delighted to have them as part of the channel. They have some of the coolest graphic t-shirts around and an absolute best fit and feel that has continually exceeded my expectations. With new shirts arriving all the time and other products like boxers, hats, and even a monthly shirt club, I wholeheartedly recommend them to you. Check out the link in my description of this video for an exclusive 10% off everything they sell. Now, as always, a huge shout out to my patrons and YouTube members. It is through their financial support that this channel is possible. If you appreciate the videos I make every single week for you guys, and they are truly for you guys, there's a link down in the description below. Even $1 a month would help greatly. Thank you so much. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive in. Now, this is something I have been thinking about a lot lately. It's not just the fact that we've had some issues with some of the other major communities for board games, namely Board Game Revolution and Board Game Geek, and kind of some issues that have come up there. But just in general, I've been wanting to do better. It's been on a to-do list for me for a long time, but I'm very busy and I just have never really sunken in the time to actually invest in even my own community. Now, I talk with you guys all the time. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But when it comes to the rules, when it comes to the understanding, when it comes to guiding the community, it's something I've just kind of done as I can, and I'm wanting to do more. That's because I want to do better with the communities I am a part of, the ones that I run. If I am a part of a community, I want to make it as good as possible. If I have the control to do so, I will do so. So let's go ahead and talk about what that is. Now, first of all, this is not unique. There have been many people that have seen the issues that arise from Board Game Geek and Board Game Revolution and stuff like that. And if you don't know, what I'm mainly talking about there is their moderation policies. Not even necessarily what they allow you to post, so that's partially it. But it's more the fact that their moderation policies are ban first, and that's it. And so, like, that's kind of... I've just told you their whole moderation policy. It's just, you just get a ban. And that's pretty much as far as they go. And that can be really heavy handed, and it definitely off-puts a lot of people. And so a lot of people see that and see the kind of the desire to not want to post anything critical about the industry or about developers or about board games or members of the community, you know, that are prominent, like reviewers and stuff like that. And they go the complete opposite direction, kind of almost like in a 4chan level way, where it's like anything goes and everything's possible, and you know there's no moderation and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not doing that. That is not, I think, the answer. That's replacing one extreme with another extreme, and what you end up with is both communities kind of being off-putting to different groups of people, if that makes sense. So I didn't want that. I wanted something that could be welcoming and open, both. And I think that's really possible. And I want to explain why. And I think the first step is banning. Banning is a last resort, not a first resort. In other words, if all else has failed and this has been an issue, or the issue is so extreme, you may end up banned from a group that I run, whether that's my Facebook group, which is linked down in the description below, by the way. Welcome all the new members. We're at 1.2 thousand and growing, almost 100 a day at this point. It's huge. So if you want to join a very fast growing community, that is linked down below, of course. But even my Discord as well. So my Patreon members and YouTube members get access to a Discord group that's a private group there that I can invite you into, or you go through it through Patreon, and there's the same kind of rules set in stone there. So let's talk about that. The Facebook group and Discord are both private. What does that mean? They are open for anybody to join, except the Discord, which is locked behind a huge dollar paywall, and there's a variety of reasons for that. But really, the privateness of it, the reason it's not public, is so that if you don't like the content there, you don't have to see it. You're there by choice. Anybody who sees the content there wants to be there. And I think that's very large. I think a lot of times a video of mine made for you guys, because again, I make it for you guys, my community. And when I do that, it hits home. Like you guys understand me, you guys know where I'm coming from. And then somebody shares the video outside of my community, right? To people who aren't used to me or never asked to see the video or wouldn't have clicked on it anyway or whatever, right? A lot of times it'll be like a negative review and they'll post it to like the fan group, and it's like, well, fans aren't going to like that. Of course, that's fine. That's okay. But obviously they react negatively to it. And I think a lot of people see that with BGG and with BGR because it is publicly viewable, that you don't even have to be a member to see the stuff there. And you may not be okay with the things you're doing there. And I think vice versa, the other way too. If you don't like people being critical of, the industry or sharing a lot of different giveaways or whatever it might be, well, then you don't have to watch it. So that's step number one, is just making it to where it only shows to the people who want to see it. Of course, I think that's very obvious. Now, will that make the community a little bit smaller? Perhaps. I would say that raw numbers mean nothing. You can have more engagement and not the largest number. Board Game Revolution has the most engagement, but not the highest people in the group. And there's a reason for that. It's the biggest because there are actually people active in it. A smaller, tight-knit group is far preferred to me over a large one that shares very little in common and doesn't even hardly like each other half the time. Like, that's not a desire I want. Now, so I think that's really big, and I think that's important. Additionally, it is open to all. There's no like, oh, you have to agree to these terms or that or whatever. The biggest thing is be respectful. And I think that's honestly the big thing. We can accept industry critique or board game critique or some other product critique or even a critique on, like I said, a prominent person, whether it's me, the admin of the group, or whether it's, another reviewer or whatever it is. It's okay to be critical about people that are participating in the industry, and you can be respectful while doing it. And I think that's really important here. And that goes for all of my groups here. When I talked about Thomas Covert, for instance, it was not positive coverage, but it was respectful coverage. I didn't call him any names. I didn't say he's a terrible person. I didn't do any of these kind of things. You can talk about an issue and talk about things you see and keep it respectful. Think of it as if you were talking to your boss at work, or your boss was talking to you at work. Maybe you have some problems, and you can talk about it and discuss things and remain respectful. And I want to continue to do that. And a lot of that, I think, is by leadership. So I think that leadership reflects onto a community, and the community reflects onto the leadership. And there's this kind of reflection going where, by and large, now I'm not saying that every leader's viable or in trouble for anything bad that happens in the community. What I mean is how you lead a community, how you see leadership reflects onto that. And that goes all the way up to like the president of the United States, or, even like how police, right, or people in authority positions act, right? Or teachers at school, same kind of thing, right? If you have a great teacher in a high school classroom that really cares, they will tend to have students that are more interested and invested and present, as opposed to a teacher that just doesn't care and is antagonistic to them, and they're going to have worse students. It could even be the same students. The leadership, it's a group effort, if that makes sense. So first of all, being there. You guys know I'm always in the comments. I think being there is appropriate. How many people act better when there's a cop driving on the road versus knowing that there could be a cop looking somewhere, right? When you see the cop, when they're there, you're going to act your best. That doesn't mean you're inherently a bad person. It just means that you're constantly reminded that they are there. Having admins present in groups is important. Having moderators present in groups is important. And not just talking about moderation, but honestly participating and interacting with the community. I think that sort of outreach and that sort of, not communion, but that sort of connection between both groups is, I think, vitally important. And I think that sort of leadership of respectfulness, of participation, of eagerness and interest reflects back onto the community, which then goes towards the entire industry. So kind of like how a smile is catchable. It's the same kind of thing there. And, questions are allowed. So if you don't like a moderation, or if you saw something happen or you have a question, you should be able to ask. It's wild to me that in these other groups, you can't honestly ask questions about this, especially publicly, or, people can't discuss what just happened. Can you imagine if every time the cops arrested somebody, you weren't allowed to speak your mind? Like, what is this? Like some kind of are we in North Korea here? Right? It's like, you should be able to question that. I mean, our cops in the real world are wearing cameras all the time, so you can see every action they do. And then it's publicly released and we can discuss it. We can talk about it amongst ourselves, and we can bring up issues to them and say, hey, maybe this is wrong. Hey, we don't like that. Okay, I'm going to talk to your boss over here. Okay, maybe you get what I'm saying? Like moderation or whether it's, in life or in an online forum is not a perfect thing. It's a back and forth. It's let's work this out. Let's get this as good as possible. And let's just try to come to an understanding of nothing else. And that comes from communication and conversation, honest and sincere on both of those. And of course, action or reasons given. In other words, you won't just see a locked post with no comment. Well, why was it locked? I don't know. Maybe I'll make another one. Maybe it was just being comments. Keep it nice, guys. Do this. Nope, that's locked too. Okay, maybe the whole post is it. I don't know. There will always be a reason. Hey, my thing was deleted. Why was it deleted? Well, you should have a message saying, hey, this was deleted because blah, 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 blah. So I think that is really important, is that the communication stays. So being present, being communicative, and banning as a last resort. You can get posts removed. You can get warnings, maybe even a temporary suspension or something like that. Or hey, you got to calm down. You're posting all this kind of crazy stuff here. Maybe we don't do that. Or, hey, let's not disrespect that entire group of people as a human being, or, whatever it might be. That can happen long before you get permanently banned. I think it's wild that that's the first reaction. So suffice it to say, that is what I'm focused on, and I want to not be hypocritical. So if I'm going to be covering and I'm going to be talking about other communities and how the industry allows speaking or not, then I need to have all my ducks in a row as well, right? And so that's why I've implemented the rules I have on my Facebook group and Discord. Speaking of the Facebook group, I did want to tell you guys a little bit about that. So this is a place that is open to everyone. And what I mean by everyone is I'm not trying to run a business with the community. This group is for the community. And because I'm not running a business, it means that I'm not fighting you for giveaways with my own giveaways. If you guys see a giveaway and you think it's interesting and you'd like to share that with the community so more people can know about an awesome giveaway, you can post that on my group. If you see an awesome video that covers a great game or it's a negative review of a game, there's nobody paying me banner space that I'm going to say, no, don't do that. They're the competitor or something like that. You can share that. If you see a great tutorial, if you made something that's interesting, maybe you made a 3D print file for a storage thing, whatever, feel free to share it. This is for the community. It's not for my business, and you are allowed to interact within my business as long as you don't compete with me. That's not what I'm doing, and that's what I feel a lot of these other groups are doing. This is a community for you guys, and you guys are free to use it however you see fit, as long as you remain respectful and kind when doing so. So if you want to talk about reviewer X and how great they are, or reviewer Y and how bad they are, or why you disagree with this, or why you hate this company, or why you love this company, or there's a pledge manager to this opened and I want to let you guys know about it, that's totally fine. That's cool. As long as you're not spamming it, I don't care. What's one post? There'll probably be among a whole bunch of other ones because you guys are awesome and already being very engaging in that community. So there is a link down to the Board Game Kingdom below. Feel free to join that Facebook group, or if you'd like to join an even smaller tight-knit group with thousands and thousands of posts every single day. They talk so much, guys, especially about core space. There's a link to my Patreon or YouTube membership. That'll get you access to the Discord, and you guys can talk to me there as well. Guys, thank you so much for being such a wonderful community. Thank you for the opportunity I have to count myself among you guys. I am truly blessed and honored to be among such a great group of people, and I am always, always impressed by how wonderful you guys all are. With that out of the way, I'll talk to you guys again very, very soon about some very cool stuff, including a huge update for next month. So with that, take care. Bye, guys.